Alright, welcome back to another Art of War 3 replay. I'm your host, Jiang Cena, and today we're going to be doing a 2v2 battle here. I'm going to be the blue Confederate player, and my ally, Bullet 82 MK2, is going to be the green Confederate player. So let's go ahead and get into this. We got some early action unfolding on the battlefield. Looks like red is pushing some riflemen onto my base. I was able to push those riflemen away with my bunker. We can see that there's some riflemen coming over to Bullet's side of the map, just kind of scouting out Bullet's base. We can see here that I'm already HQ2. I'm just starting to tech up now to HQ3. We can get a nice scout onto red. We can see red's got a couple upgraded barracks there, upgraded to level 2, so we might see some grenadiers or snipers on the battlefield. So I'm going to send a cyclone over to the yellow player. Let's see what yellow's up to. Yellow is already HQ3. We see a level 3 assault vehicle factory and a special vehicle factory, so we're expecting a mix of Jaguars and Porcupines. It's possible that yellow goes for HQ4, gets chameleons. We'll see as the battle unfolds. My plan for this battle is I'm going for a ground build, while Bullet is going for a mix of ground and aviation. So we can see that we're just getting some more scouting now. I've got another cyclone over the cliff here just to get a visual on red. Looks like red's going for a camping strategy here with defensive structures, and red is just starting to upgrade to HQ2, so red's kind of behind on the development. Yellow's got an armadillo here fighting it out with my fortress and the assaults there. It is going to get cleaned up. I'm going to be able to secure that resource container. Bullet's dropping a bunker on the plateau to get some map control, but it's not going to work out. Yellow's already got some Jaguar tanks and Porcupines on the plateau, so it looks like Yellow's got the early game control of that plateau. So I'm going to be able to secure those resources. That's going to help me with producing my army and teching up as well. And look at this, a JCP fog army moving in onto Bullet. Bullet's got some assaults there and some Zeus tanks. My Cyclone was cleaning up a sniper there to deny visual for the red. And Bullet's actually going to flag his base and is going to request some help. So I'm going to go ahead and send some units over to assist Bullet here. So I'm going to send a mass of fire assaults and the units that I was using earlier for resource collection. And meanwhile, Bullet is going to try and buy time here. These Jaguar tanks are making a big push onto the base here. This is a lot of units here that we can see from the yellow player. Yellow was able to produce an army very quickly. So my reinforcements are now starting to get onto the plateau here. We're able to reinforce Bullet's army. And with the addition of my fire assaults, yellow does not feel comfortable at this time pushing an assault onto the base. Vertex coming in, they're going to swipe a kill there. Very nicely done. They're not going to be able to get another kill there. We can see that yellow is HQ4 though, so just as we suspected, yellow is going for a conventional JCP build. So I'm going to actually get a Seraphim out to provide some support on the battlefield. My units here are supporting Bullet as we defend the front of the base here. Bullet is under some heavy pressure here. There's a lot of Jaguar tanks, Fog, and Porcupines in the area. Yellow's also got that sniper tower and anti-air tower on the plateau, and that's going to help Yellow maintain visual control of the battlefield here. Those Jaguar tanks are steadily cleaning up our ground troops here. That's not looking good on the plateau for us. I'm going to flag the entrance of Bullet's base, telling them I moved to point H. I'm going to this time send over a lot of ground troops and the Seraphim. Again, Bullet's under some heavy pressure, and I got to make sure that Bullet stays alive long enough to get a ground army out to defend himself. So Seraphim has arrived, and now we're going to go ahead and use the Seraphim to dish out some damage. Let's see the Seraphim in action. Meanwhile, red is using this opportunity to try and push an assault. There goes the punishment warheads from the Seraphim, dishing out some nice damage there. And we can see that the Seraphim is taking some damage there. Meanwhile, Sniper is making a big push onto my base, and they are just getting absolutely incinerated by my fire assaults. And we've actually been able to push back the yellow player. Yellow has regrouped at the front entrance of their base. Meanwhile, I've cleaned up all of those snipers, no problem at all. So my Zeus tanks are making a push onto the yellow person's base. with the support of the shield generator. We're trying to force fire into the fog, trying to get some damage onto the Jaguar tanks and chameleons as much as possible. That shield generator is going to run out though. It is difficult to aim in the fog. Here comes some armadillos and infantry from the red player. Red's now trying to exert some pressure on me. But these armadillos are not very well upgraded, and I've got a Zeus tank and some fire assaults out already. I'm going to bring back the Seraphim to support as well as needed. Yellow is making another push though. Those Jaguar tanks and chameleons making a push. Bullet's going to send the Vertex over to my side of the base to clean up those armadillos very nicely. So I got some infantry trying to chase the JCP there, but Bullet's going to tell me to fall back. You just need a micro there a little bit better. The meantime here, I am going to drop a second assault vehicle factory. I'm going to produce more Zeus tanks to help us out here. So meanwhile, I'm going to move my Seraphim over to that large resource container. Bullet's coming in with the Vertex, scores a nice hit on that level 3 special vehicle factory. And the factory is going to go down. That's a nice pickup for Bullet. It's going to delay chameleon production for the yellow player. Meanwhile, we can see that I have transformed my Seraphim. My Seraphim is now on the ground, securing that resource container. So again, we're going to get some extra resources here. This is going to be nice. We're just continuing to replenish our army. JCP moving in once again onto Bullet's base. Bullet cannot catch a break this battle from this fog. Now we can see fire assaults mixed in for Bullet. I'm bringing the Seraphim in right now. There's some porcupines firing onto the Seraphim. We're going to launch another salvo of the punishment warheads. Looks like the Seraphim is almost out of hit points though, and it is going to go down. Fire assaults moving into the fog there, trying to chase the JCP there. I tell Bullet to regroup at the front entrance. Bullet has only a handful of Zeus tanks and a shield generator. I'm going to move some Zeus tanks in to reinforce. I'm going to send some more tanks over as needed. Here comes another assault from Yellow. Yellow is continuing to play very aggressively here with the JCP. So we're going to move a Cyclone over to the area just to get a visual on the battlefield. We can see that Yellow has regrouped, and there are 3 chameleons mixed in with some Jaguar tanks and the porcupines, so a pretty big army there. We can see at my base I've got a Solaris tank out along with some infantry and Zeus, so at my end of things I'm pretty well supported overall. I'm going to move the Solaris tank forward, just going to dish out some harassment damage and also trying to work on completing a contract. There's the active ability of the Solaris tank, does a ton of damage, and so far I've taken out 3 armadillos, and it looks like Red's starting to send more armadillos my way. So I'm trying to bait the armadillos back towards my base, where they'll be supported by the primary line. We can see Red has a huge base, but hasn't teched up to HQ4 yet. I finally lost the Solaris tank there, but here we can see that Red has lost at least 9 or 10 armadillos, so in terms of a resource standpoint, that was a pretty good trade overall. So I've got the shield generator, a very solid defensive line overall. I don't think Red is going to break through, but here comes the JCP once again from the yellow player, making another push onto Bullet. So Bullet's got the shield generator, Zeus tanks. I got some Zeus tanks in the mix as well. Trying to move that Seraphim in to dish out some damage. It is going to go down though. Now Bullet is going to try to move on to the plateau here. Let's see if we can dish out some damage against the fog. We're trying to force fire into the fog to dish out damage against the tanks. And we can see there's a few Jaguars that are visible and not under protection of the chameleon fog. So one of those Jaguar tanks gets cleaned up. We're continuing to just force fire to try and push back the yellow player. And we can see that the fog has maybe run out here. We see those Jaguar tanks are now visible. Bullet is gradually producing Thors to support our overall defensive line here. And we can see that now Yellow is starting to run out of units a little bit here, so they are trying to regroup at the front entrance of their base. We're also starting to run out of units here. Here come the Thors. They score a direct hit on the fog and do a ton of damage to the tanks inside the fog. So we can see there's only a couple tanks left on our side of things, so we are going to need to replenish our armies. So a lone porcupine there, just getting cleaned up, or we're attempting to clean it up. Looks like Yellow is moving their army back in though. So we got to be careful here. Bullet doesn't have too many ground troops here and could potentially get overrun if we don't play our cards correctly here. So those Jaguars are spread out, trying to dish out damage against the infantry. Bullet is scoring some nice hits with those Vertex each time he swings in, and the Porcupines aren't quite strong enough to take out the Vertex, so it's going to help Bullet push the yellow player back. So now I'm going to regroup here in the center of the map. I've got heavy assaults, fire assaults, and Zeus tanks. And Bullet actually told me to launch an assault at the left-hand side of the base here. We can see that Red was actually just moving in with a ton of armadillos, so we were actually able to intercept this attack force from the Red player very nicely. And we can see that I'm just dishing out a ton of damage against these units here. And a level 3 assault vehicle factory is going to go down, but we can see that we are heavily outnumbered at this time. Both the JCP army and the mass armadillos are just moving in to dish out tons of damage against us. Here come the Thors again. They score a direct hit on those armadillos. They do a ton of damage. And between my ground army and the Thors from Bullet, we're able to clean up these units pretty nicely. Vertex come in to support as well. And we can see that Red's formerly huge army of armadillos has been taken out effectively. So I've got another Seraphim on the battlefield. We can see that at this point both myself and Bullet are HQ5, so we have access to full command points. Got another Solaris tank on the battlefield. I'm using my Seraphim now to come in and support this army from Bullet. Bullet's making a small push here on the plateau. We're going to take out a sniper tower there just to take out some visual control for the yellow player. Looks like Bullet is going to commit though. Bullet is going on the offensive with the Zeus tanks here, taking out a construction yard there. Yellow has regrouped at the bottom of the hill here, so now Bullet is the one putting pressure onto the yellow player. That shield generator is going to run out though. Meanwhile, I got my Solaris tank here just dishing out damage against the gun towers. Those Thors came in, scored a nice bombing run onto the yellow player's base. Yellow's actually starting to run out of troops and real estate here. Armadillos moving in for the Red player, but Armadillos are a very poor counter against Zeus tanks. So we can see that these Armadillos are just getting shredded by the Zeus tanks. The JCP is moving back in once again, trying to dish out damage as well. I've got my Seraphim in the back along with Bullet's Vertex, and with our combination of units in the back, we're able to fend off these Armadillos no problem. So Yellow still trying to make a push. Red trying to make a push as well. We see another punishment salvo coming in, and those warheads score some nice hits onto those armadillos. And with the Zeus tanks moving in now, those armadillos are cornered and they're going to get crushed. Meanwhile, my Solaris tank here still doing harassment, but it looks like it's taking some heavy damage. I'm going to go ahead and retreat. My Seraphim has been taken out by the Porcupines there. Thor's coming in for Bullet. They're going to score a nice hit on that assault vehicle factory. Looks like Armadillos are trying to make a push, but there's no way those Armadillos can push. Active ability from the Solaris tank is going to fire. Looks like Thor's came in for another hit, and they cleaned up a ton of Yellow's army. And there goes the level 3 special vehicle factory. No more chameleons for the yellow player. Armadillos, meanwhile, making another push once again to push my fire assaults out. These Zeus tanks are dishing out some steady damage against the last bits of Yellow's troops. This is not looking good for the Yellow at all. Red is going to launch one last attack here, trying to see if they can make a final push. But I've got a very solid defensive line here. The Solaris tanks, Zeus tanks, a Torrent, and heavy assaults. This is no problem at all to defend. So Zeus tanks are now cleaning up those last couple Jaguar tanks. And we can see that Red is self-destructing, and it is good game. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed this action-packed battle. Good luck in your battles. We'll see you in the next one.
Victory.